Welcome to Unfiltered Counsel and Beyond, where we take the opportunity to hear from the people behind the title and learn about their life challenges and how they overcome them, their joys and successes, about what really matters to them, both personally and professionally. In this way, we're able to share the steps taken by these very successful lawyers and show that they are real people too, just like us, and hopefully help you to better navigate your career journey throughout the legal profession. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by my dear friend and eagle, the wonderful Clare Wardle. Welcome, Clare.
Thanks, Lesley. Great to be here.
So, Clare, tell us something about you that might surprise people who only know you professionally.
Oh, I don't know if it'd be surprising, but I probably spent most of the first part of my legal career trying to do ocean racing instead of doing law. Would that surprise you?
That does surprise me. But that's really wonderful to hear that. Are you still doing that now?
Oh, no, we're just cruising these days, but
Oh,
I do quite a lot of sailing.
oh, that's wonderful.
We've
That's really,
sailed in the Arctic, Norway,
oh my
Croatia, of
goodness.
course, and round lots of Scottish islands.
And did you go to Dubrovnik?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you're missing something there. You've got to go. It's
I know.
wonderful.
We went there separately,
Oh,
and it's a beautiful place. But
yes.
no, we sailed up the other way.
Oh, amazing. Well, maybe one day you'll take me on your sailboat.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd love to join you. So what do you enjoy doing outside work, or is that the answer? It is the sailing or
Lots of
something
things.
else?
Lots of things. As you know, I've got a couple of Labradors,
Yes.
so those keep us out of mischief
And
and
what are their names?
exercise. Sky and Oscar.
Sky and Oscar. Very
Oscar
cute.
because he's very dramatic.
Is he like you then, Claire?
I think he's much more obedient than me.
That's what we like to hear. So what brings you your best energy out?
I think my best energy comes out when I'm really interested in something. And I think if I have a great team and we're trying to solve a big problem, whether that's M&A or sorting out a crisis or a cyber attack, I think that's when I get really engaged and really interested.
That's the best part about being general counsel is to manage a crisis, isn't it?
Well, I think we're really good at it, which is one thing. I think we stay calm in a crisis. We have really good contacts around the business, so we can pull together the right team. We've got an amazing facility, I think, to synthesize complicated answers and make them simple for the exec and the board. And really importantly, we can keep the very senior people out when they're trying to interfere with the people who are trying to get stuff done.
I think that's absolutely right. It is like it's an acquired skill set over a long period of time. So you can't just jump and be general counsel. It does take time to live through these life experiences and challenges at work and accumulate the building blocks to get you to this position where you're sitting there advising and being the trusted board advisor. So yes, no, it's very exciting times. Um, so what about imposter syndrome? Have you ever felt that? And if you have, how do you overcome it?
I think we all have. I think everybody. I've listened to billionaires and someone who is running a big four consultancy say, "I feel terrible imposter syndrome." It's not a thing that ever goes away completely, but I think knowing that that is something that happens to everybody, knowing that actually you can add value, and the really important thing is not, am I feeling adequate? It's, can I help? Can I make this work?
Mm.
And the answer is yes, you can. You've got a very good skill set. You can make things work. You can make things happen for other people. And think about the others around you. You staying calm, you moving things forward, you helping other people do things is what's important, not do you feel like an imposter while you do it.
Mm. I think that's right. And it's also about being human. This is normal human behavior. You're trying something
Absolutely.
different for the first time.
Yes. Yes.
And so you might feel a bit apprehensive
Yes.
um, just because you haven't done it before. But
Yes.
once you have a go and you step into that role, slowly, the confidence comes back and it starts to build. And you have curated such a great network of advisors and friends that you can call on to get support and advice to make sure you're going down the right route, or are there alternative options that you haven't thought of? So that is a great way to navigate. Thank you, Claire. I think
No, I
people
think
really
that's such an
appreciate that.
important way of putting it, Lesley. I mean, I think one of the things that marks someone out as a leader, as someone who's got there, is that they're not afraid of saying, other people know more than I do. Please help.
Yes,
I think when you're really young, you want to look as though you know all the answers and you don't want to say, I don't know. You would- Even though there are people around you, be very happy to help.
yes,
Whereas I think as you get a bit older and uglier, you realize that you're surrounded by people all the time who know
yes,
more about everything than you do. And most of them are really helpful, friendly people. And I
yes,
think it's one of the beauties of the Eagle Club, actually. I mean, I've
yes.
seen people ask things from where can I find someone to help with autism in Suffolk to I want a intellectual property lawyer in Riyadh, and people immediately pile and go, yes, this is where you should look. And I think that's just brilliant.
Yes, I never thought about it like that, but you're absolutely right. It is a great community which fosters trust, great culture, support for each other, and no judgment. So yeah, I think that's a great it's a great way you put that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Claire. Um, so why did you choose to become a lawyer?
Well, I wish I could say I'd wanted to do it since I was 3, but really what happened was that I was sitting in the careers office at university, and there was this list, and it started with something like acrobat and ended up with something like zoologist. And I was going, no, 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 maybe, no, no. Anyway, so I decided I wanted to be a barrister.
So, oh, okay, right. Well, and that leads me quite nicely to, could we take a quick canter through your career journey then, from being starting your
Yes,
legal career till now?
absolutely. So I started out by going to the bar, and that was quite fun, but incredibly impoverishing. And there was also a moment which did shape my later career a little bit, because in my first pupillage at the end, the head of chamber said, I've got a chance in life to give to someone, Claire, and I'm going to give it to someone who's going to take it up, not someone like you who will just go off and have children.
Right.
So the iron entered my soul in many, many ways, but also the resolve that when I got to his position, I would help people be their best self, not just decide they weren't going to be. So that was pretty important. But so I got another pupillage, and in those days, you basically starved at the bar until you became senior enough. And so I thought, I'm bored of starving. Everyone else is earning a wage, so I went and became a solicitor. And so I went out and did my articles, and as I went through the different seats, I ended up having a seat in intellectual property and technology, which I found absolutely hugely fun. And the litigation people who'd hired me in the first place were spitting chips, but hey, I had a huge amount of fun doing that for quite a long time. And then I got to the point where I was going to get married, thought I was going to have some children. I looked at the junior partners who were spending every hour God sends,
Mm.
slaving away, increasing their network, working like dogs, and thought, hmm. And at that point, someone rang me up and said, would you like to apply for this job in-house? Which was actually at Royal Mail. And I thought, well, why not? I'll give it a go. And I absolutely never regretted it. It was such fun getting really involved in the business and doing stuff where it wasn't you gave advice. A year later, they came back and said, well, we didn't really take your advice and now we're in a mess. I think, okay,
Well,
let's have another go. Um, and I know that that's not always the experience, but it was really good to be in a position where you could engage with the business and work out what kind of advice would get them to the right place, and then work with them where if they decided not to take it, you could then say, well, what about shaping it this way? What about thinking ahead 2 years, and maybe it's better if we just do it this way and make it work? And of course, it was absolutely fascinating. I mean, in those days, Royal Mail had a whole range of businesses. So then I went in actually originally because they were going to get privatised, and they didn't. And 9 years later, I was thinking, they're never going to get privatized. And what else is out there? And I went to do trains, and then about a year later, they did get privatized. So, there you are. Um, so then with the trains, I worked for the PPP company that was still doing London Underground. And eventually they got bought out, and I cost the purchasers a lot of money. So they said, I think we know you've cost us a lot of money. Would you like to move? So then I went to Kingfisher, which was also very good fun.
Where I met you actually when you were in your
Exactly.
role.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right. Yes. And I remember being so struck by you and by your confidence. And anyway, we got on from the beginning, but I mean, we've had a lot of fun over the years,
I
actually.
felt the same way about you too, Claire, as you know full well.
Well, we've met in all sorts of places since then. I remember meeting in Davos when we both had great big furry hats and
That
sitting.
was great fun,
That
wasn't
was
it?
great fun. Anyway,
The
so
World Economic Forum, I just
exactly.
wanted to add.
Yes, it was very good, very interesting as well.
We
Which
should go
actually,
again.
yes,
Yes, we
absolutely,
definitely go again.
yes, yes, we should absolutely go again. But I think that is one of the fun things about in-house is you can absolutely do lots of interesting things along the way. So then after Kingfisher, I think I got to a sort of natural pause with Kingfisher, and I got rung up about what turned out to be Coca-Cola Europacific Partners PLC. Um, and that was also incredibly good fun. A whole different industry, but one that is very ebullient and very interesting. And of course, lots of different countries and lots of different cultures and lots of fascinating problems of all kinds. I think the other thing, of course, about being a GC is you're not just purely legal.
Mm.
And my roles both at Kingfisher and at Coca-Cola Europacific Partners were very much broader than that. I have risk and security and insurance at Kingfisher, and of course at Tube Lines I had a spell as a commercial director, which was really interesting. But I think that's the thing, is that I have such enjoyed my um, journey in-house, and I don't think I'd have had half the fun and half the opportunities or half the international travel and meeting amazing people if I hadn't gone in-house. So that's absolutely marvelous.
So, Claire, you recently stepped down from your high profile role as GC and COSEC for Coca Cola European
Mhm.
Partners. Was that a difficult decision for you to, because you were there for like a decade? It's quite a long time.
Yeah, yeah. I think the thing is that if you're there that long, you make some very good friends. You have a fantastic team. It's huge fun. But I think 10 years is a good time.
Yes.
And I think, you feel you've always got to feel there's something new, something different, something a big challenge. But I really felt that my team was in an amazingly good spot
Mm.
and they were doing fantastic work. They still are doing fantastic work. And so my successor, I think, is really well placed to go forward and succeed and bring a fresh pair of eyes to it as well.
Mm.
So I think having a little break and then working out what I want to do next is I think will suit me quite well. I wouldn't say there's never any looking back and going, oh, but they're such nice people. I really enjoyed working there. But I think I think it was the right decision.
Yes. And you left it in the capable hands of another one of our eagles. So I think that's really wonderful to see and hear that, paying it forward and supporting other general counsel. So Claire, let's talk about your biggest challenge in that role or any other role that you've done, and how did you actually overcome that challenge?
Goodness. Um, well, there've been an lot of different challenges from trains derailing to cyber attacks to, uh, I suppose, in some ways, um, the biggest challenges have been, as always, around people um, and crises and so on. But I think, to your point, one of the things that GCs are pretty good at is managing crises.
So I'd also like to ask you, navigating the board, how do you build those relationships with the board directors? Because there are so many of them and they have their own focuses. So it's a very difficult position. It's quite lonely for the general counsel and COSEC um, sitting on the board.
Well, I think. the first thing is that you need to think of these people as people. And it comes back a little bit to your imposter syndrome. I think when you first start doing this, you think all the other people around the board are more senior than me and they're very impressive people. And then you realize that actually they're human beings and they are also feeling uncomfortable in different ways. So, for example, I've had boards where people are operating in their third language. I've had boards where the cultural backgrounds of people was completely different. They just came from such different points of view, they didn't understand where the other people were coming from. And your job there is to see them as human beings and bring them together. And I think that sometimes you forget that your job is not the outsider. You are absolutely the insider.
Mm.
You're the one bit that makes them all come together.
You're the glue that holds everyone together.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's such a privileged position to be in because you have to get the trust, get the buy-in and trust of each board director so
yes.
that you can actually manage the relationships in the way that you have just explained, bringing the
Yes.
horses together.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's the thing is obviously there's no substitute for being competent, but
No.
anyone listening to this podcast has got the competence. It's about making sure that you are the trusted advisor. So they know that if they want to come and talk to you about something off the record, they can come and talk and it will stay off the record. If they want something raised with the chairman or with the CEO or with the SID, you can make that happen. Or you can raise it and say, someone's raised this point, what do you think? And
Mm.
you can make an easy process for people to raise something they may feel uncomfortable about in the right way. And I think in a way it's the same as being a director. A good director goes in to move things forward, to ask the right questions, to get that company to succeed.
Mm.
And the thing about being a general counsel is you have a particular set of expertise. You have a lot of knowledge of where things are, how things work. And you, as the COSEC, bring in the right information to the board. You make it easy for them to understand. You make sure that the technical guys who are bringing in papers have explained it in a way that even the least technical board director can understand and isn't sitting there feeling deeply uncomfortable and second guessing what's going on. So you're making it easy for people to do a good job.
Mm.
And I think that is one of the most important roles of the GC COSAC is making sure that you get to great decisions. It's not to impose your decision on them, but to make sure that the right decisions are taken in the right way because everyone's got the right stuff.
It's a great way to put it, actually. That's absolutely right. It's facilitating to get to the right outcomes by making sure that you've got great oversight over what's going on and are able to navigate the business and make sure that all the right information is being provided to all the relevant board directors at the right time, give them enough time to review the documents, which is absolutely critical,
Yes,
and then make sure they have the nice tea and coffee waiting for them on arrival.
absolutely.
Really important. And
Yes,
then helping them get to the right decision. I think that's a beautiful, succinct way to put it.
yes.
Thank you.
And I think the other thing, of course, is working on those relationships. And sometimes you kind of forget that you're involved in the management of this company. You know lots of stuff. The board directors come in, somewhere between 5 and 11 times a year, depending on the enthusiasm of the board. And those people come in and they try and pick up cues to tell them what to do. And I remember once I had to say to them all in quite a clear way, the person who's coming in to talk to you is very nervous. You will be nice to them. Because their instinct is, why are they nervous? We need to ask some probing questions because they're clearly nervous. So they may be concealing things from us or not sure of their answers. No, they're just nervous because they're talking to the board. Zen.
Yes, beautiful. I love it. It's absolutely right. they want to impress and shine in front of the board directors. The directors want to know what's going on under the covers.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's about building that relationship and the right atmosphere to make sure everyone's comfortable to share the information in a
Yes,
way which is, well received, and to allow them to ask the right questions, because the business will have done the research and just want to look good in front of the board directors, which makes perfect sense.
that's right. And I think one of the things that's really underestimated is the role that you can play in making sure that that works really smoothly, so that instead of wasting their time on going down rat holes, or actually, instead of management getting very anxious and going, well, perhaps we shouldn't tell the board these things because they'll only get cross, or we'll just give them one thing that they can decide. We won't tell them about the bigger context. You get them to trust each other. And once the board trusts management and trusts that they make good judgments, they can have a good discussion where they bring their broader experience to bear and help them make great decisions, as opposed to having an atmosphere of distrust. And it comes back to your earlier point. It's all about engendering the right kind of trust so you
Mm.
can have really good discussions.
And Claire, it's also about building the right culture, setting the tone, because it comes from the top and goes all the
Yes,
way down. And so I think you're right. People do underestimate the value that a general counsel can bring to the table. It isn't just answering legal questions, it is truly about being able to navigate the relationships, understanding the wider context, knowing what's going on in the business, being the one person who literally knows everything that's going on, pulling it all together and making sure the right information gets to the right place so they can make good decisions. That is that is not even a legal skill. That's just the general counsel taking on another function where they can use their skills that they've acquired over a number of years to navigate and understand how these processes work. So every company should have a good general counsel, in my view.
absolutely. Absolutely. And the general counsel shouldn't be shy about the fact that they have an understanding of quite a lot of different things and they know where the experts are around the business and who to pull together on what subject. And they can help those people as well. Because
Yes.
sometimes you can sit in a business as an expert and feel very isolated and alone, as though nobody listens to you. And one of the things that you can do as general counsel is make sure that those voices are included and are heard.
Yeah, I love that. That's absolutely right. It's really helpful because there are a lot of general counsel out there who may be feeling that they can't step over the line. But actually, we encourage general counsel to take a stand, move yourself forward, progress, and be confident in making these decisions and getting buy in and bringing people together, and then truly building a great culture and
Absolutely.
showcasing
Yeah.
how amazing general counsel can be for your business.
No, 100%. And I think one of the most valuable lessons for general counsel I got when I was at Tube Lines, and I had a really great CEO. He was the chap who made me be commercial director, actually. But he, when I got into the boardroom and I wasn't being listened to, he gave me a few really good, important lessons. The first one, when I thought I was going to get, you should make complicated arguments and this isn't clear enough and this and that. And he said, look, for God's sake, Claire, just sit up straight, look them in the eye, and don't put your head on one side. Very useful advice. But he also said to me, no, you lawyers, the reason no one listens to you, he said, there are three things. You keep saying, I advise, I think, I suggest. What are you saying? We should do something. Well, what is it? Be clear.
Mm,
It's not optional, is it? Is it optional? No, it's
mm,
not optional. Okay, say so. Say what you think very clearly. Second thing, tie it back to the business plan. Why
mm,
is this going to move us forward? And actually, that's very good advice.
mm.
CEOs want to know how you're going to deliver their objectives.
Mm.
They're not at all interested in whether or not there's some kind of esoteric piece of law attached
Yes,
to it. You
yes,
can be very clear.
yes. That's
No.
great advice, actually.
And the second one was, no, they're human beings.
Yes,
Stop treating them as though they're not.
yes, yes. It's really that's really good advice, actually. Very practical advice. It's
Yes,
about just getting on and doing it, and making sure that, if you're going to do this, how's it going to help my business? And
Exactly.
if it's going to help my business
Yes.
and I'm going to generate this revenue and I'm
Yes.
going to get access to a new market,
Yes.
then let's do it.
Exactly. Or at the least, how much money is going to either come off the bottom line because we didn't do it or go on to the bottom line because we did.
Yes.
And I think that's, I've often had to advise people in my broader team. I mean, I don't want to be mean about my broader team ever, but I did have a security guy. We were trying to get an increase in fraud coverage, and we needed it. We knew things were happening that we weren't catching. And he kept saying, "Why are we doing this?" And he would say, "Because it's more compliant with the law. We're going to catch more fraud. We're going to do this." Okay, I've done a back of the envelope calculation. This should save us €4 million a year. Yes? Oh, yes, yes, it will do that too. Is that more interesting to the board and the exec than we will comply with the law better?
It's the bottom line.
Bottom line is
Mm.
always interesting to
Oh,
everybody.
it's interesting to everybody. Absolutely. Um, Thank you for that. So, Claire, can I just ask you, what stands out to you when you meet someone impressive? And I mean, like someone you want to hire for your team, or a supplier, like a law firm who wants to, get into your good books. What are the what stands out to you?
I think the first thing, I think it's a given that they're good at their job.
Yes.
So that's, competence is always important. But I think then you think, well, are they going to be a good human being who's going to deliver?
Mm,
Do they actually care?
mm,
Do they care about how well my team does?
mm,
Do they care about how well the business does?
mm,
Are they actually going to engage? Are they going to do it with the right values? And
mm,
that's one of the reasons why, when I'm looking at panel law firms,
mm,
I don't just ask you, have you got the right expertise? But, okay, have you got a diverse team?
mm,
That tells me a lot about a law firm.
mm,
Have you actually kept the best people? Or
mm.
have you just shed all the people who don't look like you and don't go to Chelsea Football Club on? Then do you do pro bono? What do you do? How do you do it? Are you actually living your values?
Mm.
So I think these things can tell you a lot about people. I'm not saying everyone has to be the same or espouse exactly the same moral codes or have the same charities. I think what I want to know is, as a human being, are you delivering?
Mm,
And I
mm.
think it's so important that we think about ourselves as a bunch of human beings who are coming together and trying to succeed together.
Common purpose. Yes.
Common purpose is
Yes.
such an important thing.
Mm.
And I think we do hear occasionally horrific stories about how partners in law firms try to make themselves look good at the expense of the general counsel. And that's
Oh,
just
that's not a
so,
good look, is it?
it's not a good look.
We don't like that.
No, we don't like that. But we don't like it for a lot of reasons. And one of them is it shows that they're not a really good human being.
Mm,
They're probably not running their team well.
mm,
They're clearly not running the team with us, that broader virtual team, well. And that probably is driving a suboptimal performance all
mm.
round. However clever they are, this is not a solo sport, law. It's
So,
always a team sport.
so leadership is actually really important. Positive leadership to bring your team together for the common purpose, to support the client in the way that is meaningful and actually will deliver in a way that people are happy with the outcome.
Yes, and they're happy with the journey as well.
Yes.
Because, for example, if you're going to do a massive piece of M&A over many months, you don't want your team cracking up under the strain of someone who is horrible.
Mm,
I know, no, sure, we wouldn't work with people like that, but
yes.
I've seen plenty of partners on the other side of the table, you know, crack the whip and send some poor unfortunate train out to buy them a shirt um, to and then says it's the wrong kind of nuts. Go and get better nuts. I don't know what you're doing. Like, come on,
Yes. It's not a good look, is
it's
it?
not a
Not in
good
this day
look.
and age.
And but I don't think it was ever productive.
No.
You're always going to get better work out of people if you encourage them, if
Yes.
you get them to be the best they can be. And yes, of course, people make mistakes, and they make
But we're only
mistakes when they're young.
human. We
But
all make mistakes.
we
Mm.
move on. We don't go,
Yes.
we're going to dwell on that being a horrible mistake. We work out how we're going to move forward
Yes.
and get to
No.
the best place.
Yeah, no, that's great advice actually. That's really helpful for law firms, law firm partners to listen to that and take that on board. What's really important, I think, is if you're trying to win the work from the client, to actually genuinely take an interest in their business, to know about their business and have conversations with the GC. I understand you've done this recently. We can do that as well, etc., etc. So showing a genuine interest in your business, because we
Yes,
want to work with people
absolutely.
who love our product. And I recently was at an event, and the law firm partner said, "I really want to meet this GC, Lesley." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because I love their products." And
Great.
yeah, which is amazing. And so I
Yes.
introduced them, and the GC said, "This is the only time a law firm partner has ever shown an interest in our products and knows who we are."
Well, that's very shocking, isn't
That's
it?
very shocking, but it just goes to show you how important it is to show your interest in your client. So
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
really
But it's
important.
also important for the quality of the advice. If you don't understand the business, you don't
Mm,
understand what the business is trying to do, you don't understand what's important to the brand,
mm,
then you're not going to give great advice
mm.
because all advice takes you down a road.
Yes,
There are choices you make,
yes,
and the choices have to be reflective of what the business is trying to do.
yes.
And if you don't like the business, if you don't understand the business, it's actually something when I'm getting people in from private practice into my team, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, is the first thing I say is listen. You may be the cleverest person in the room. You may be the best qualified person in the room with the highest degree, but there's a lot of people in the room who've got important things to say and
Mm,
they understand the business, what the business is trying to do, and what the business is actually doing now in a way that you don't. And if
mm,
you don't get the background, you don't understand that. If you don't understand the values of the business, you're not going to give the best advice. And by the way, they won't like you if you just opine on things that they know about.
mm. So, Claire, what helps someone build real trust with you?
I think we talked about living the values, and I think that's really
Mm,
important. I think being honest and being open, and don't tell me you know lots of stuff if you don't.
mm,
I can absolutely be happy with someone who wants to learn,
mm.
but I'm not a great fan of people who tell me how marvelous they are and then they're not.
Yes. We don't like to be disappointed, do we, Claire?
We don't really, but I think actually, um, I think people come in all shapes and sizes, and there's so many great people with great different skills. And there was a chap who worked in one of my teams, and he was a super introverted analyst. And then I discovered that actually, in his spare time, he made amazing videos, and he did some of the best compliance videos I've ever seen. And if
Gosh.
you just tap into some of those qualities, there are some extraordinary people with amazing abilities, and all you have to do is find out what they are. And I love that curiosity as well of people who, when in their leadership, they look for all the best things about their team members and how to bring out the best in them. I think that's great.
Yeah, I love that. It is about taking time to listen to the people around you and taking a genuine interest in the other human beings to find out what makes them tick. Yeah, and learn something new. I love doing that because I love to learn. And
Yes.
then, you can delve into it even more. And so if I was going to try and win your work in future, Claire, I would take you sailing because I now know something that you love doing.
There's many things I like, but yes, that would be a good one.
So, Claire, thank you for that. If I could just ask you some quick fire questions now.
Very well. I'm ready.
Right. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Reading a book or going to the theatre?
Ooh, that's really difficult. How tired am I? I think, okay, can I do both? I'll read the book on the way to the theatre.
That works. Classical music or hip hop?
Ooh, classical.
Thought you were a hip hop girl.
Well,
Uh,
no, but I like classical a lot.
that's
It's not if it's got to be an option.
yes, no, that's a great choice. Actually, it's very calming. Roses or white lilies?
Roses.
Baked beans or mince on toast?
Um, Cheese on toast.
Lamborghini or Mini Cooper?
Mini Cooper.
Beach holiday or hiking trip?
Hiking trip.
Labradors or toy
Oh,
poodles?
Labradors. Come on, that's not even a question.
Well, look, Claire, thank you so much. It's been really wonderful to have you share your insights and share the human side of you with our audience. There's lots of great tips in there for external counsel and for up and coming lawyers and other general counsel. And your insight that you've shared today, in particular on navigating the boardroom, I think was really insightful. So I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Lesley. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
And that was Clare Wardle, and that is Unfiltered Counsel and Beyond.